Constant decrease over time is most likely because of modernization and cities becoming more urbanized and more modern. New technologies are being invented and more choices are given to women. Steep rapid decreases caused by the losses of people during World War I in Europe between 28 July 1914 to 11 November 1918. Around 1.7 million French citizens and soldiers died, causing decrease of crude birth rates. The big decrease over time is most likely due to the amount of people that have died in World War II, which lasted from 1939 to 1945. Around 800,000 have died. This also explains the rapid increase of crude birth rate since the population had a big decrease. People had to start making more babies. There's a small decrease in 1975 because that is when abortions were legalized in France, giving people the option to remove their baby when a woman is pregnant. The trend starts to settle off because people want less babies and need less babies because they don't die at a young age anymore, since there is better medical support to help the babies live a full happy life. The rapid growth of the world's population over the past 100 years is not the result of the rise in crude birth rate. Instead, it has been caused largely by a decline in crude death rates, especially in developing countries. People live longer and life expectancy increases due to better healthcare, more food supply, and better personal hygiene. France is a developed country, thus explains the low and decreasing crude death rate at an average of 9 per 1,000 currently. During the 18th century, child mortality rates were very high and were at an average of 300 deaths per 1,000 births. It decreased very slowly over time, and at the lowest it was at 230 deaths per 1,000 births. Not until starting from 1900s, infant mortality rates start to drastically decrease over time, until 2015 when its average of 4.3 deaths per 1,000 births. People were living a very bad lifestyle, mainly because a lot couldn't afford any better. People had big families to take care of, but only some survived. People were malnourished and were very limited on food supplies due to their numbers and costs. Studies show that when the price of grain in France increased, the more infants die. As you can see in 1860 and 1870, there are small increases of infant mortality rates. This is probably because the grain prices increased. The grain price increase correlated to the child mortality rate is only relevant for the 18th century. Between 1914 and 1918, World War I, and between 1939 and 1945, World War II, have caused big losses in the population. Many soldiers died, including innocent children, causing infant mortality rates to spike up. Our world is modernizing. New technologies are being invented, better healthcare and new facilities helping older people. These factors extend the potential life of a person by many ways, thus increasing the life expectancy. The more developed a country is, for example like France, it will be expected for that country to have a rising life expectancy, and not already it being very high, reflecting from the past. France is constantly evolving with better and newer healthcare, which explains the constant increase of life expectancy. Many events such as war can make the life expectancy of a country drop. For example, in 1848 to 1849, the French Revolution with many deaths explains a small drop in life expectancy in 1848. In 1871, France was defeated in war, making a lot of civilians and soldiers wounded and sick, as well as destroyed supplies across the country, making it hard to support and help them, causing the life expectancy to drop to only around 30 years. Both world wars have affected France's population in bad ways. It caused its life expectancy to dramatically drop to 34 years, when it was originally 51 years, in 1913. And in 1939, the life expectancy dropped again to 47, when it was originally 60. Luckily, France has recovered from these events, and its average life expectancy continues to rise, sitting currently at 83 years for both genders, and is estimated that it could reach 93 years by 2099. France's population is not equally distributed over the land. Most people live either in big cities spread around the countries or near the shore. People most likely live near the shore due to a lot of tourists, which is good for the business. The air is also a lot cooler because of the sea, and people get many advantages from the sea, such as fishing. The left side of France is a lot of flat land, which is good. This is good for farming and building cities. That's why it's more populated there. Near the bottom right, near the bottom right side, in the mountainous area, it's quite populated due to good touristic attractions, and it's near a big city. In the middle of France is very less populated, mostly due to it being deserted, meaning less cities, more smaller towns, and mostly farmers, and not many tourists. So it's not an ideal place for everyone to live in. The population density of France is 122 inhabitants per square kilometer. I believe France is not overpopulated or underpopulated. It sits in the middle, meaning France can hold more people when talking about land, since it has a lot of free space. When talking resources, France is currently consuming more resources than they make. So there should be more farmers and fishermen cultivating more food in the free space available. In 1960, the population was 45 million. I estimate France would be in a very late state of stage 2, about to enter stage 3. At this moment in time, as you can tell, women have a slightly longer life expectancy, and both genders are estimated to live around 84 years maximum. The average would be around 60 years. As you can tell, there's a significant lower total fertility rate from previous years, probably due to lower child mortality rate. In the pyramid, you can observe gaps. These are when population has dropped. There are two bigger gaps, and they are on the same years when World War One and World War Two happened. In 2010, population was 62 million. France is about to leave stage 3 and is going to enter stage 4, the final stage. As you can observe, there are no major drops in population anymore, and life expectancy has increased to an average of 82 years for both genders. Fertility rate has decreased by 1/3 of what it was before, and child mortality rate is very low. There are no very big gaps in population. Only two gaps, but from recovering. The gaps are very minimal. In 2060, the population will be at 72 million, and France will be in the stage 4 with a life expectancy at around 99 years maximum and average life expectancy of 92 years. Total fertility rate has stayed at around the same, so has child mortality rate, but both have decreased a little. There are no big gaps, only a very small one still from recovering World War II. France generally has a positive net migration balance every year. This means that more people immigrate than emigrate. In 2013, France has a net migration rate of 5.05. There were around 12 million immigrants, making about 20% of total population of France. Pull factors for immigrants in France would be that they would have a better lifestyle, to find a job since there is good business, many big companies and smaller jobs available. An organization in France called the SMIC guarantees a reasonable salary for everyone. They're big modern cities and a lot of touristic attractions. There are good education opportunities, easy transportation methods across the country, such as the TGV, which is a really fast train that goes all around France, retirement at age 65, access to healthcare, a lot of open space to live in. Push factors would be it's sometimes quite expensive to live, increasing demand for resources, some pollution in the big cities, cold weather, there's some terrorism currently happening. Big cities such as Paris are densely populated. Opportunities or setbacks. Migrants will take the jobs of French citizens, which would leave French citizens in unemployment, which is bad. A good thing would be that different cultures can be shared, and migrants can do the less good and unwanted jobs such as cleaning the streets or construction. To give France a better future in its population, I would fund a program that would support and encourage people that decide to become farmers or and fishermen, since France has a high demand for resources, and so France will be able to support more migrants. I will have this program that would help migrants and citizens to find a job, and to add more and make new jobs available to everyone. I will build more big cities so that cities that are densely populated become less populated, and there's a bigger spread of population across the country. I will have better transportation for everyone who lives in the central of France, in places that are less populated, so it's easier for them to go in big cities for shopping. Since a lot of people live near the coastal area, I will build more space near the coastal area for people to live in and make life around there better. For example, have more transportation methods and more touristic attractions.